Hello, hello. I'm Suzie Cobden, and this is Melissa. She is a co-creator with me on this beautiful journey. And today we're having a conscious conversation, and today's topic is mantras. So I'm going to kick this off with asking Melissa, what is a mantra?
And I call it a mantra. I soften the A in this part of the world, and a mantra, whichever way you refer to it, wherever you are, is an it's so many people think of it as an affirmation, and it is an affirmative spell, is the way I'm going to say it. It is an affirmative spell in the sense of that, like spell casting, you are casting a truth forward into your future, like you're lassoing a rope and you're pulling it in. And that isn't in the sense of anything witchy or witchcrafty if you don't want it to be. It's absolutely just holistic in the sense of you and everybody can have a sense of their mantra and their affirmating into the future of calling in. So whether it's calling in from a place of asking God for it and a sense of prayer, often even our prayers are like a mantra in that we ask over and over again, or we set that mantra and we repeat, repeat, repeat. So a mantra is a chosen, spoken line, a few words. I like to rhyme them to make it easy. And it's something that calls in something you desire, and it sets your mind to it. So what you focus on, you bring about, right? What you think about, you bring about. What you focus on, you give energy to so that it brings it to you. And it's not like so many people do, which is I keep putting in the order to the kitchen, and the kitchen's now backed up with 50 of my orders, and I don't want 50 of this. I need to be patient at the table and trust that, the waiter who's done their job brilliantly, and God who's in the kitchen making all the orders I've ever had and every order of anybody and doesn't get it wrong, knows what I want and knows where it is and knows how to bring it to me. So I need to trust and I need to have patience. So my mantra isn't about asking, 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 asking. It's more of a prayer of a sense of gratitude, of an isness, of I'm acknowledging. And that's where it gets very similar to affirmations. The difference between a mantra, to me, between a mantra and an affirmation could be, I am so wealthy. I'm so wealthy, wealthy, wealthy. I am so happy, happy, happy. I live my best life. I'm doing everything I love in life. And that's wonderful. Affirmations are great. You can live in those affirmations, you can speak those affirmations. It's way better than being negative is to be positive. So affirmations can really help with that, as well as you can put them around your house. You can stick them on post-it notes, put them on your mirrors, all of that. Affirmations are great. If they're serving you and you love them, they're great. And the difference, how you shift into a mantra, what a mantra is, and something that Susie and I was talking about in our conscious conversation, is that as you shift into a mantra, it's something that isn't just far out in the sense of, I can't quite believe it. I affirm it, but it's not landing fully in me. I hope for it. I want that. So I'm affirming it. Where a mantra is, yes, I hope for it. I want that. But I actually, there's a buy-in, there's some believability. So it's not so general that it encompasses too much, like a mantra that's just like, and I just believe in, world peace and all this. Well, it's got a specific in it, something that's a hook for you specifically, that not only do you want, that you're grateful for when you get it. That's something you're going to be gratitude. So it's already peppered in there. But there's a hook of believability in you already. So you find within that mantra, in your affirmative mantra,
Mhm.
that unlike just I'm wealthy, you find something that you're wealthy in. You attach it to something. Now, the world and the universe can bring that to you in a different way by far. It doesn't have to come in that specific way. So you don't have to be too specific. I have to have a white picket fence and a White House in this, part of the world. I need it to be in Austin, Texas on this street. You can do that. And there's nothing saying you can't get that. Of course you can. You can receive that, and you can also just go out and get it yourself. And this is making it where this or something better, like the sense of, if you don't over specify, but you don't overgeneralize. It's about just getting that hook. So
Mm.
we're going to give you some opportunities and some options and some, you know, I was going to say advice, but it's not really advice. It's more like examples of what those can be and also how to create one. So if you want wealth, which we're talking about this time, if you want something wealth related, it can have a hook of where there's either already wealth coming in for you, where you want it in just on the outside, not so far away. Like, I want an Academy Award, but I'm not actually acting, writing, or directing. Well, you can still get one, and there's still some process. So maybe what you want first is a really great audition, or a really great role, or a really great writing opportunity or partner. Like, get that next thing might feel more realistic than I got my Academy Award, or I'm a billionaire. How about we start with something that has a believability to take you towards that? There's nothing saying you can't become a billionaire, absolutely. But what do you need now? What is it you're really wanting now? Is it to be a billionaire, or is it to be completely debt free? Is it to manifest $10,000 in a month, a week? So it's not that you can't get that, it's find a hook that has wealth attached to it, that is either something in the realm of what you've already got. And it's not that the universe can't do everything, because it can. As you know, Susie, it can do anything, as we will share some of our wonderful manifesting stories, is it can come from anywhere,
Mm.
and it can come in any way. And if you help yourself out to your believability, you're just taking that next step.
Mm.
How's that sound, Susie?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds really, really helpful, because, feeling is so important when you are using any type of word to attract to you what you desire. And I love the fact that, you make a mantra rhyme, because it does make it more memorable, easier to repeat, and even put some movement with it.
Mhm.
If we can put movement with our mantras, then, you know, that's actually moving energy and bringing energy through our whole body and towards what we're focused on in that moment. So that's awesome. So should we talk about, I know a lot of people, money is a big issue. So, creating a money mantra perhaps,
Well, what
or
would be great for you? Like, let's practice on you. What would you like? Would you like a money mantra? Let's do that.
yeah, well, let's do that. Um, like, I know that I can attract certain amounts in a day. Um, yeah, why don't we pick something that is believable? Um, but it's got to be something new, right? Something you haven't done before, so that it's stretching ourselves.
No, so a mantra, so an affirmation and a mantra, it doesn't have to be new at all. I mean, if you've been married and you want true love in your marriage, you've had true love, let's say, well, you're just asking to have a bigger expression of it, or you've been through divorce and you want it again. You can have anything you want again and more. It's all down to your belief and all down to what you are, your heart's desire.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not, it is very magical. So when I spoke very beginning, like spell casting, magic, it's very magical. And for people who are much more religious, so I probably already lost you by now anyway. If you're religious, you're like, well, spell casting, what's that? But if you're still here, it's also miracle. It's that sense of that miracle that God is doing something for you that you've asked for, and it's coming away. Like, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I'm a fan of, coming away you least expect, and leaves no doubt that it was the divine or your higher self or God, the universe, source energy is delivering it. But you're in conjunction with that. It's not just an outside entity that's delivering something to you that you've done good. It's you in cooperation with your higher self, is in cooperation with what you want,
Mm-hmm.
and you aligning yourself with receiving it. And we're simply doing an alignment of energetically getting you ready for that space to receive what you're out there, that it is all the time available to you right now, this moment, all the time. As Abraham Hicks says, it's in your vortex. You've already asked for it. It's just everywhere all the time. It's already there. You aren't aligned with that frequency yet, so you're not seeing it show up. It's not against you. It's not eluding you.
Mhm.
You are getting the opportunity to align with it. And the mantra, the affirmation, doing affirmations and doing a mantra is simply helping you align. That's really what you're doing. So it's not
Yep.
really even asking from an outside source.
Yeah.
It's aligning with what you're calling in. That's already out there for you. That's available because you want it. What
Mm.
you want wants you. So because you want it, it's not you just wanting something. And who are you to want that? Like, oh, you're being ridiculous. Not at all. You are wanting something that is wanting you. You are calling it in. So not everybody wants to be an astronaut. Not everybody wants an Academy Award. Not everybody wants to be a billionaire. Some people want the biggest, best things and they can feel themselves going. Some people put it out there because it's what they should do. So it's really about aligning with what you want, that you know you want, not what you should want or what other people tell you want. That's, in fact, that's not going to get it because everybody's got a deep calling for who they want to be and how they want to show up. This is about knowing your desires, listening to your heart, finding what that is, and then having the courage to ask for it and believe you can have it. And if
Mm.
it's an Academy Award, cool. If it's $1 billion, cool. If it's $10,000, if it's out of debt, if it's true love, it's having a baby, it's having a white picket fence, it's traveling the world, backpacking, doing good for the world, going and creating charities, creating
Mm.
sustainable water and healthy living
Mm.
in this planet. It's all possible. So you know you the best, not what other people tell you. So once you get clear on that and you're like, this is what I want, now I have to believe I can have it. And I'm going to help myself with that with affirmations, maybe post it everywhere, or just that, or this wonderful mantra, which is got a little bit of believability already in it.
Mm.
So you can hook something in there that's not something just that I have never done before. It's like, oh, you can do it. So in fact, it's even better if you have done it. For me, I found like if I can put a little spice of something in there that I've already done or believe in, it's going to help that be more true for me. And
Mm.
even though I'm trying to stretch myself beyond what I have done before, if I put a little bit in there what I have done so I can lean into that and borrow from that energy of, hey, this has already happened, so this next thing is possible too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I love that. And just touching on a couple of things you said there, it's got to be your own desire, something you really want. And for a long time, I got caught up in, as you said, what I should want, what others wanted for me, what would actually give me the freedom that I wanted right now. And if it's not coming from your heart, it's not in alignment with you in that moment. And therefore, you can't attract something you're not aligned with. And I know these mantras bring you into alignment, but everything that's meant for you is already available to you if you can feel it, if you can believe it. So to go down the line of what do I really want, you're connecting into that heart space and with the creation that's already done, that's already right there for you. So I'm going to change our mantra from money to actually a new car.
Okay.
I know the type of car I want,
Okay.
so it feels more aligned to me. Money would get me the car,
Yes.
but it's the car that I want. So,
Okay.
and you also touched on, get out of debt.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't create a mantra around debt. You'd create mantra out of the positive, the amount that you wanted for that. So I know that's what you were meaning, but I just really wanted to bring that clarity through. So awesome. So where do I start with a mantra?
Okay. So have you ever bought a car?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever bought a new car?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever gone on a lot and picked out the car you wanted?
I did it with my partner at the time.
Okay. So you've had that experience and that
Yes,
feeling,
I have.
which is
Yep.
great because, of course, you don't have to have any of that and you can still create the mantra. But just to
Yep.
get really aware of where we can start from, we go back to what you have experienced, which is, have you ever bought a car? No. Okay, so we start there actually, and we start getting to feeling what that could be like. But yours is yes, and yes, I bought a car. Yes, I bought a new car. So you get that new car sent, you know what it's like to have a brand new car. You also know what it's like to go to a lot. So great, we get to start all the way from there. These are things you've done. So
Hmm.
it's in no way impossible because you've already experienced it. Even if it was with somebody, now you get to do it either on your own or the way that it comes.
Hmm.
Now, have you ever manifested anything out of thin air?
Yes.
Okay, so you also have the feeling that goes with, this is something I want that I've already experienced getting, and I've manifested things out of thin air. So it can come from money. It can come from somebody giving it to me. It can kind of fall out of the sky. It can come from anywhere. So there's the level of believability we're starting to feel into. And so anybody that's watching this, it's like you're asking yourself these same questions. Whatever it is that you want, have I ever experienced it before? At what level have I experienced it before? So that you can feel into that and visualize it and see it just as vividly. Now, if you haven't, then it's about imagining it. It's about creating that feeling, what you think it would be. And then it's about releasing limitations. So then the next would be, well, have you ever, anything at all, manifested something to come out of absolutely nowhere in the way you did not expect? Money came in, you found it in the mailbox and you didn't earn it, deserve it, go for it. It just showed up. I don't care what the thing is. Have you had that experience? Yes, great. We're going to borrow that energy and go into the mantra. No, I haven't. That's okay. Now, can you imagine it? And if you feel that energy inside you where it's, yes, I can imagine it. Yes, it can come from anywhere. I believe God can do anything. I believe source is, I'm aligned and anything is possible. Then you use that energy. If the energy that's coming up is like, oh, I haven't experienced that. And I don't know if that's actually possible. I don't know if a car can fall out of the sky. I don't know if I want a car to fall out of the sky. Do I want that? I want it to show up in this way. I really feel like I'd like to go to a lot. I'd like to have the money and I'd like to buy it. I don't really feel like somebody's going to give me one. I don't really feel like this. The point is to own the truth of where you're at so that even if we're stretching you, we don't we don't pretend that you have a belief that doesn't have some massive limitation right from the get-go. That's not, that all you're going to do is butt up against that limitation right from the, all that mantra is going to do is make you do this and be like, I don't believe it. So it's going to be really hard to love that mantra.
Yeah.
So with you, borrow on those two examples, you have had the experience and you have manifested out of thin air. Great. So now it's about creating a short, simple line or two.
Yep.
Something I like to rhyme because, again, having a background more in like spell work and magic and miracles, and I'm a poet and I'm a songwriter, so I like things to rhyme. But you don't have to rhyme. It's just got to be something that sticks out to you and is believable and rememberable. Something you can refer to throughout the day
Yep.
when the opposite thought comes up. Never going to get that car, except your mantra. Boom.
Yep.
And so it's just something that you can recite easily. So what is coming up for you about, do you want a specific car? Do you want to put that in it? Or would you just like to be more general on what kind of car in the beginning of your mantra? How would you like to start that?
Something came to me while you were just telling us about that.
Great. That's perfect.
3 words. Howdy to my Audi.
Oh, I love that.
Like, how simple is that? How simple is
It
that?
just came dropped in for you. I love that.
How fun is that? How fun is it? Howdy to my Audi.
That's perfect. And then look how fun you were having. Look at all the joy you have around that. Now, Susie, can you believe that you can buy a new car because you bought one before? Is there any belief in there? Can you feel a level of belief that I can have a new car? I bought one before.
Yep. Yep.
Is there a belief of, I don't have to know how I'm going to get it, or whether the money or somebody gives it or it shows up or whatever. I don't have to know because other magical things have happened before.
Yep.
Feel it. And the reason is feel into that. Not just, yes, of course. No, feel into it because that's your believability of where you're going to put this. And now with that feeling and that knowing of like, I've done this before. Anything can happen, which is really what we're trying to go for in these energies. Howdy to your Audi. So that anytime you see a beautiful car out there, and if the negative mind comes up and says, I wish I had a car, I don't have a car, and you feel the energy drop and lower and go against you, you immediately stop and go, wait,
Yeah.
howdy to my Audi. And then you see yourself getting behind the wheel. You see what color you want inside. You imagine it. You feel yourself driving it. You have fun, that joy that you're showing me right now. And then it's just howdy to my Audi. So every time a negative comes, yep, you just negate it. You neutralize that negative thought with howdy to my Audi or whatever your mantra is. And you start to step into it from a place of every day you just find the joy in saying it. Like it becomes something that you enjoy saying to yourself, even if there's no negative thought. It becomes like, howdy to my howdy. I can't wait to receive that. I can't wait to see where it's going to come from. I can't wait to see where it's going to show up from. Hey, universe, this is a fun game I'm playing with you. How's this going to happen? How am I either going to end? And the best part is depending on who you are and where you're at, whether it's a car or whatever it is. Again, anybody who's watching this maybe has heard, don't get into the house. Don't worry about the house. So if you're somebody who's like, well, I want to see myself at the lot buying it and handing over the money, cool. If you're somebody who's like, I just want to see myself in the car. I don't care how it happens. I don't care if I have to hand over money or if I ever have to get on a lot at all. I just got the car I wanted. It's in my driveway. I'm in it. And go to that space. Go to the outcome you want to experience. And if you don't want to experience buying it, like going through the buy, then don't put yourself in that experience. Go into the car and just having the car. If you enjoy the experience of buying it, and that's part of the joy of like, oh, I get to buy it, and the person and they get excited with me and I drive it off the lot. If that's a part of the joy, take yourself to where the joy is.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
Yeah.
howdy to your Audi. I love that. Good
So,
job. It's so easy.
so
You did a great job.
how long, like, do you think, is there a perfect length for a mantra? I imagine it needs to be short enough that it's easily repeatable and memorable. Although I know, like, once you start repeating something, even if it's a bit lengthy, you get to remember it, especially if
Absolutely.
it's got rhyme. Rhyme helps the memory. So in your experience, like, the shorter the better, or
Sure. The shorter the better. And you don't want a whole paragraph. And mine's a little longer, quite a bit longer than yours. But I like saying the whole thing because it matters to me. I like the way it makes me feel as I say each point of something that again, we're touching upon it's reminding me of something that's already true that I've already experienced. B, it's telling me something that is I want that's coming that is in that realm of believability of it can come from anywhere. So I'm touching upon two things of releasing any limited beliefs. So I'm getting to touch on that and reminding myself that I've had some success in here already. Like I'm actually saying something that absolutely can and will come true because I've already had some success at this level and I have an unlimited mind to this amount. Like I'm not hitting up against my limitations because I do have belief in it. So for mine is a little longer and the one I'll share one that is a wealth related one, and anybody who's watching this can even use and borrow it. Knock yourself out. Normally, it's much stronger if you create it yourself, just like spell work or prayers or anything. If you're borrowing one, it's going to have somebody else, the juice in it is going to be not as strong as something you create yourself because it's really caught up in your those questions answered for you of like, is this true for me? But it's great to borrow mantras and affirmations and prayers when we need them, when we can't come up with it ourselves. And so to borrow it as a stair step is perfect. Like, oh, I'm going to borrow that until I create one or until one comes to me, like it dropped and downloaded into you. And it's still very strong. It's just going to be even stronger when it's all your own or when you create something that's really, really believable for you. But in the meantime, something that's wealth related is when I was really wanting to step into my career into more writing and um, more creative work and not just more back when I was doing more of a 9 to 5. I really wanted to shift into the energy of I could create wealth doing what I love. So of
Mhm.
course I did. And my mantra longer is I make the most amount of money in the least amount of time doing exactly what I love. You say, well, that doesn't really rhyme. No, but it's I make the most amount of money in the least amount of time doing something that I love. I make the most amount of money in the least amount of time doing something that I love. So it's not rhyming. It's what it is that it's like an iambic pentameter. It's got a rhythm to it. So find it. If you don't have a rhyme, get a rhythm. Get something like howdy to my Audi rhyme. So it's easy, 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 and it just fits. Mine, I created something that had a flow,
Yeah.
had a rhythm so that I could remember it and love it. And so I make the most amount of money it was true. Like I'd made some really great opportunities in my life to make a lot of money. So I had made a lot of money. It just wasn't in the thing I wanted yet. So I'd made the most money. So I was like, I can believe I can do that again in the least amount of time. Well, I was trading lots of time for money back then, like loads of time for money. And I did not have time and financial freedom. So trading time for money really was making it impossible to work on my creative dreams because I'm having to do this over here. So I make the most amount of money, which is what I wanted and wanted to do again and more of in the least amount of time because time was something I was trading far too much of. So I
Yep.
needed to shrink that down so I could play more. And then doing something that I love because at the time I wasn't doing something that I love. I was doing something I was good at, something that paid the bills. But now I wanted to do what I love, like genuinely. So within that mantra was something that I could believe because I'd done a version of it before. So I'm just trying to play it here in the least amount of time is being very specific that, well, here's this time related. And of course, I had some experience that, but that was in my kind of limited beliefs of like, can I have more time and play and freedom and fun? So I'm going to lean into that because of course I can. I've had it. I've gone on vacations before. I've had some time to myself. So, okay, I can lean into that. Doing something that I love. Well, I know what I love and now I want that to be it. So that gets to be my end of the line is like, and here's the real go.
Yep.
So for me, that was a mantra that worked great for getting out of the career I was in at the time and stepping into a more fulfilling career.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. There's so many mantras out there. I love money and money loves me is another one, and put it to a bit of movement, and it can be a lot of fun. Every day in every way I get better and better. That's one that I borrowed for a long time, and I added to that healthier and healthier and wealthier and wealthier, and that supported me for a long time. So I really love the opportunity to have a mantra, allow it to focus our mind and our energy into something that we love and bring it into the present moment, and you may call it spellcraft, you may call it, magic, but really as creators, with this worthiness and with this power of God, source creator, always available and flowing through us and wanting to shower us with the things we love. We have this ability to create our own lives. So what more fun way to do it than to do it with a mantra?
Well, and ultimately, I said spellcraft for people that understand, like, oh, it sounds like a spell in the sense of I'm calling something in and out and then rhyming if possible or creating a rhythm. And that's what it reminds me of personally. Somebody else, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Great, that's fine. That has nothing to do with it. You're co-creating. All we're talking about is co-creation. It can be magic, it can be miracles, it can be spiritual, it can be religious, it can be none of those things. You can be divine, sacred, feminine, you can just be regular human doing your day-to-day work and really just not have a deeper belief, but hopefully you do have a higher belief in that you're consciously co-creating with something that is higher and more. Because if you're calling out to more, you're asking for more, at least to experience more. And it's really important that you have some awareness of alignment there of what more is. So your spaciousness. And something Susie and I are working on is, that really there's that spaciousness into Christ consciousness and to allowing that co-creation to be more with not a separate, but a wholeness that we already are. The breath that we take, that which beats our heart. So the life force energy that just is. So it's something so we are asking that you believe in something more than, oh, there's just nothing. If that works for you in the sense of that you believe from the nothing you can pull in and you have a really solid and firm confidence and groundedness in yourself in that, that's awesome because that nothing is the all thing too. So it's all perfect. However you call it in and however you believe that we're not asking you to follow any specific thing. That's why any of this wording works. but really what it is co-creation, and co-creation with what? Your higher self, that which you already are, that which is beating your heart right now, that which is the life force energy that is you, that creates all.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. I love that distinction because, most people believe in something a bit more than themselves, than their actual physical humanness. There is something that is animating our body. We say it's my body. It's not me. It's my body. It's something I own. It's my mind. It's my hand, it's my name. And I don't believe I'm any of those things. So I love that distinction. And, even science is coming here and it has proof that there is an energy, something more than what we believe we are as meat suits. So learning how to use this to actually shift our lives in a positive way is most delicious. And it excites me to be able to bring this moreness, this expansion, this self that we are into being. Isness, yeah, isness. Exactly. To come into wholeness. So yeah, thank you, Melissa. This has been so much fun, and I'm sure that
And you have a mantra.
Yeah. Howdy to my howdy.
Yeah, I love that you're like, some dropped right in. Awesome. That's the best way. It's like, don't over try. It's like, when I'm songwriting, the best songs I write, I don't write. I get out of the way of, and they come through me. And often while I'm writing something that I'm struggling, I'm like, oh, what's the next line? And it'll just download. I'll hear the music. I'll hear everything. I have to change the page and just keep up with it. Is because the best is that which is allowed to come through us from that higher experience of self, that expansion. Whatever you may call it to be, I'm not going to tell you what to believe or how to believe it or what to call it. And there's a sense of moreness, like whatever that more is for you in that expansion. And I really love, and we've name dropped several people on this particular call of like who are some of our resources are, and some of what we love to listen to. And right now we're listening to Course of Love, which we're really enjoying, the 40 Days and 40 Nights. And particularly for years, when people would get itchy around the word God, I love the word God. It's a great word for me. I was raised, Christian, a Baptist, and I love Jesus. I love believing in the mystical Christ, and also I studied Buddhism and Hinduism, Taoism, all these beautiful religions. As I experienced it, and I never left anything behind. I just kept adding to my beautiful beliefs soup of wonderfulness. And in that, I would also try to help by talking to people at their language level. Like if they couldn't handle the word God, I was like, fine, what word is okay with you? Source, universe. And I really just wanted to keep owning what was right for me and not just making other people comfortable, but also being true to what was right for me. And when I really got to, I was like, what does the word God mean? Is it a man in the sky? What is God for me? And I was like, well, it's just all being absolute. I would always write, like when I would write my love letters to God in poetry, all being absolute, I would call it. All being absolute was God for me. And then when we've been listening to the Course of Miracles, I really enjoyed its definition. I really, really enjoyed, which was, the all of all given an identity, God. You can call it whatever you want. It's just the all of all given an identity. And I was like, oh, I love that. So we invite you to have whatever experience is right for you to create your affirmations and your mantras, your believability in yourself and in more, to receive more, to experience more, and from a place of really wanting to expand and play. So I bet the Audi would make it fun for you to play more. Like your joy made me want to see you in your Audi.
I look forward to being able to take a photo of me in it and sharing it here with all of you. So bring it on, bring it on. So thank you very much, Melissa, for sharing your wisdom with us today, and for this fun playtime together in our conscious conversations. And yeah, I would love to hear any success stories or any mantras that any of you have created, drop them in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel because there's lots more conscious conversations coming, and yeah, content around really stepping into your power and creating your world in the best possible way.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments too. If like we didn't cover something that you're interested in or curious about, there's a question of this or anything else, we would love to answer that. And of course, and see your mantras, hear or see your results, your demonstrations, your success, because that is going to be fun for us over the years. Thank you for participating and playing with us and bringing your wonderful conscious energy to our conscious conversation.
Thank you.